10 U.S. tourist traps to avoid at all cost. Certain sites in the United States draw large crowds for a reason. They are either home to a famous landmark, are known for delectable cuisine, or are a fantastic place to enjoy the scenery. However, some may not live up to the hype. If you are unfamiliar with the place you are visiting or have not done your research, you may fall victim to one of these tourist traps, wasting both time and money. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today, we are going to talk about 10 US tourist traps to avoid at all cost. Before we get started with the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. Number 10. Skip the French Quarter and head to the Garden District. First-time visitors to the Big Easy obviously want to visit the French Quarter, the city's most famous area, which attracts over 10 million people each year. However, due to its popularity, the streets can become extremely congested, particularly after sunset. After enjoying some beignets and live music on Bourbon Street, leave before the midnight throng arrives to avoid shoulder-to-shoulder foot gridlock and long lines at bars. Number 9. Ditch Mount Rushmore and visit Devil's Tower instead. Mount Rushmore is one of the most well-known monuments in the country, carved into the granite cliffside of the Black Hills in western South Dakota. It was built to entice visitors to this isolated part of the Great Plains by honoring 4 former presidents. During the peak season, over 5,000 tourists visit these massive heads each day. The place is good for a quick stop on a road trip, but don't make it a main attraction. Instead, drive to Devil's Tower on the opposite side of the Black Hills, across the Wyoming border. The Natural Park Service is in charge of managing this geologic feature as well, but it has a much less touristy atmosphere and offers hiking trails, vistas, scurrying prairie dogs, and outdoor activities like rock climbing. It's one of the best conventional crack climbing spots in North America. Number 8. Avoid the Virginia Beach Boardwalk and go to the Outer Banks. The Virginia Beach Boardwalk, which is full of corporate restaurants, busy beaches, and tourist-trap souvenir shops, is best avoided, especially during the peak summer vacation season. For a quieter and more scenic trip, travel 2 hours south to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which offers state parks, shipwreck diving, coastal cuisine, and a variety of beach sports. The islands and villages of the Outer Banks are diverse, with something for everyone. The northern village of Corolla is untouched with wild horses and scenic coastlines, while the adjoining town of Duck is famed for its boardwalk and family-friendly beaches, which are much smaller and more relaxing than other East Coast boardwalks. Number 7. Steer clear of Alcatraz and visit Angel Island. Alcatraz is unquestionably San Francisco's most famous island, renowned for its grim history and now defunct jail. A ferry to Alcatraz costs roughly $40 per passenger, and for such a small island, the 1 million annual visitors make it a touch too crowded. Your time would be better spent on the island next door, Angel Island, which is half the price to visit and has views of Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge. Angel Island State Park, the Bay's largest natural island, features rustic campsites, miles of hiking paths, and peaceful beaches with skyline views. For centuries, the Coast Miwok tribe used the island as a hunting field and gathering spot. Number 6. Skip the Fountain of Youth and visit a natural Florida spring. St. Augustine is the legendary site of Juan Ponce de Leon's 16th century quest for the Fountain of Youth. While this city has many interesting sites, the Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park is not one of them. For $20 per person, the Fountain of Youth is essentially a trickle of water falling into a conduit. Number 5. Skip the Hollywood Walk of Fame and take a studio tour instead. If you're seeking Hollywood glamour or superstars ready to sign your autograph book, avoid the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Instead of the glitz of Hollywood, you'll see swarms of tourists, cheesy souvenir shops, and the occasional street performer. The truth is that the region is far more gritty than glamorous. If you must make the journey, Grauman's Chinese Theater may be the sole reason to visit this location. If you want to see where Hollywood magic happens, visit one of the city's many film studios and take a tour. Studios provide an excellent opportunity to learn about film history and the secrets behind the camera. Warner Brothers Studios is located on the valley side of the Hollywood Hills. Number 4. Skip Plymouth Rock. Would you like to discover where the Pilgrims first arrived to the New World? Then do not go to Plymouth Rock. The actual landing place was most likely around Provincetown, on Cape Cod's coast. Unfortunately, the town of Plymouth will try to persuade you otherwise and encourage you to visit their main attraction. In our perspective, there are far better things to do than stare at a rock. Number 3. Skip Times Square and visit the Met. What cannot be found in Times Square? Locals. The crowds are plentiful, and the majority of the shopping consists of kitschy but costly trinkets and chain restaurants. Times Square is the very definition of a tourist trap. New York has a lot more to offer. Instead of staring at the lights in Times Square advertising the latest movie or fashion line, visit the Metropolitan Museum of Art to see some genuine art. The Metropolitan Museum, as it is affectionately known, is so large that it is impossible to visit everything in one day. Go online and discover the exhibits that interest you, then visit all of them on your first trip. You will return. You should also look at the American Museum of Natural History and the Museum of Modern Art. Number 2. Skip Roswell, New Mexico, and visit the Walker Air Force Base. When you think of Roswell, you automatically think of aliens and flying saucers. UFO legends have transformed the town into one big fat gimmick, with tourists buying everything that resembles an extraterrestrial or a UFO. The town takes pleasure in being the reputed site of a 1947 extraterrestrial crash landing, and it has constructed a tourist trap resembling one of those late-night, low-budget sci-fi movies, complete with terrifying creatures. The International UFO Museum and Research Center is the town's most popular tourist attraction. It sounds scientific. It only costs $5 to get in. If you're in Roswell and want to see things that fly, skip the UFO and ET crap and go to the Walker Aviation Museum. The museum, located at Walker Air Force Base, is dedicated to disseminating historical facts about this major military base and the men and women who served there. Walker served as the base for the U.S. Air Force's most powerful fighting unit during World War II, as well as the home of the famed Enola Gay. Number 1. Skip Graceland and visit Beale Street. Even Elvis would cringe at Graceland's ostentatiousness and the way his estate has chosen to honor him. Aside from the excessive quantity of Elvis impersonators, Graceland is significantly expensive. Admission does not even get you access to most of the house, and you must navigate on your own using an iPad. John Stamos' voice guides you through the tour. The meal is just as horrible as the tour, so unless you're a die-hard King fan, avoid both at all costs. If you want to feel Memphis rhythm and blues, visit Beale Street. It may not be less busy, but you'll have plenty of room to stretch out and explore the clubs and restaurants that offer live music every night. If you're lucky, you'll see the Beale Street Flippers perform on the street. That's the end of the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.